What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my random horror review series. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, episode 91 is coming at you live, and we're gonna take it back to the 50s, the golden age of like sci-fi horror, the atomic age era, with a film from 1957, directed by Nathan Uran. Now, I know the guy's name because he's actually directed quite a few damn movies that I've actually seen before. The ones I have listed on the back here, The Deadly Mantis, which I actually reviewed a couple years back, I think, on the 31 Days of Horror. Super, super fun, giant mantis type film. The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Those are all really cool movies. He did The Black Castle with Boris Karloff back in the day, which is not mentioned on here. He also did The Boy Who Cried Werewolf, Jack the Giant Killer. So this guy's actually done a lot of damn work. So I thought this was really interesting. I'd never seen this movie before, the one in question here. And we might as well get to the title of it, which is called The Brain from Planet Arous. Yes, it's one of his films I'd never actually seen before, so I was very excited that the fine folks at Film Detective decided to send this one over for review. If you haven't checked out Film Detective and you're into like old school, you know, kind of horror sci-fi type films, mostly what they release, stuff from like the 50s and stuff, resurrecting these things from the graves of like just shitty transfers. They're doing really good work. The restorations on these are really damn cool. So this one in particular, The Brain from Planet Arous, is starring John Agar, Joyce Meadows, and Robert Fuller. John Agar has been in lots of stuff. He was in The Mole People. I know Joyce Meadows because she was in a movie called I Saw What You Did that was directed by William Castle in 1965. Actually, Scream Factory released that Blu-ray, which is a really cool movie. And Robert Fuller is in tons of things. Like, he's got one of those faces recognized in tons of TV. He was actually in Mr. No Legs, the exploitation film from the 70s, believe it or not, which is kind of crazy because considering the body of work that he had done, that's kind of an oddball thing for him to be in, but recognized him from that. So, but yes, 1957, The Brain from Planet Arous. Now, getting into the synopsis of this movie, basically, it's about these two radiation scientists who are sitting in their lab one day, and they start getting these off-the-chart radiation readings coming from the desert, like 30 miles away and stuff. So they decide to go investigate because that's their job. So they get out there, and everything seems a little bit weird. You know, the readings are off the chart. There's this new cave there. There's rocks that have been moved around. There's just things that aren't looking how they're supposed to be looking. So anyways, they see this cave, they go and investigate in there, and then they have a confrontation with a giant brain named Gore from the planet Arous. One of the scientists gets killed, and the other one gets taken over by the brain. The brain basically takes over his body with the goal of taking over the entire world. So he wants to use the scientist's body, you know, as a vessel to take over the world and stuff. So that is basically the plot of the movie, the synopsis of the movie. So my thoughts on this one, damn, this is a super, super goofy movie, man, but it's super fun. Like, it's got really good pacing. The narrative is flushed out fine. For the 71-minute running time on this is absolutely crazy because they do accomplish everything they need to accomplish in this, is what I really like. Like, a lot of older movies, especially from the 30s and 40s, I've mentioned this before in reviews, that, you know, it feels like when the movie starts, it's like at the halfway point. They just kind of, because they didn't have the budgets really to flush out the narratives. This one actually seems like it has the full narrative for the 71 minutes. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, there's a giant brain named Gore. He's like an intergalactic criminal brain who's made its way to Earth with the goal of world domination and stuff. The hilarious part about this movie is that there's actually another brain that's chasing down Gore. He's like the police brain. He's come to Earth. And basically, two of our main characters here, played by Joyce and her father, they meet this brain. Anyways, this brain ends up taking over her dog to infiltrate and, you know, basically to defeat Gore. It's got to be one of the goofiest synopsis plots devices in history. It's so funny. The effects are hilarious too, man. And, you know, they kind of do it's kind of like a interpause over and over, like but except for the final scene in this, it's really funny. It almost looks like it's a huge brain balloon that they're fighting and stuff. But I really do enjoy this movie, man. The acting is actually really good. The narrative is so damn goofy. It's really funny, but it's not meant to be a comedy. It just comes off like that because it's ridiculous. You got to remember, this movie was made about a year after Invasion of Body Snatchers, and that idea of taking over human bodies and stuff was quite... It was getting popular. So many movies that took Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I know it had been done before and stuff with the body taking over and things like that, but that one really popularized it. And of course, this one is kind of a representation of that, but done a lot differently. Definitely a lot goofier and stuff. But yeah, like the overall narrative in this is absolutely hilarious. You know, the other funny thing about this movie is that our character, played by John Agar, he's the one that gets taken over by the brain. He turns into like this complete pervert. It's so funny because like he's this very nice guy and he's dating Joyce Meadows' character. And then when he gets invaded, he becomes like this maniac. He just wants to constantly grope her and make out with her. And she's so offended and he just becomes a total asshole. It's like... this criminal gore brain is just like a total pervert alien. It's so fucking funny. I was like dying watching this. I'm like, this is hilarious for 1957. It's just so out of like sorts for, you know, characters to be like this and stuff. It's just really funny. But what it all comes down to, it's really funny. It's very diabolical. It's very diabolical actually, because, you know, he's this brain is trying to take over the world, and he's like killing off people with, he can kill them off by using radiation and stuff. It's like this high concentrated radiation that burns people and stuff, and then he like takes down a plane and kills a bunch of people. It's actually quite kind of crazy, you know, what's really happening in this for how goofy the idea is. It's pretty goofy, or it's pretty maniacal, man, to be honest. But yeah, the whole shit with the dog had me rolling. That was pretty funny and stuff, and the end battle is pretty funny in this. But overall, it's a really enjoyable film. I actually wish Robert Fuller was in the film a little bit more, because I actually really like him. He's a good character actor, just a great actor in general and stuff. But John Agar does steal the show in this, because he plays the two characters quite well. When he's just himself as this real nice guy, and then when he's invaded, he's this total asshole, pervert, jerk and shit. It's really funny. But yeah, overall, very cool. I thought the effects were absolutely hilarious in this. And you're not wasting your time watching this shit. It's 71 minutes. It flies by. I know there's a lot of movies from this era, even in the 50s, where you would have a 70 to 75 minute film and it would feel so long because the pacing is just so awful. But in this one, it's intriguing right from the start. I like the idea of these scientists going out and, you know, it's as simple as, you know, checking the radiation levels and then coming across all this shit. And it does clip along quite well. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, the brain from planet Arous, absolutely hilarious. We got some special features. Actually, Joyce Meadows actually does, I think she does an introduction on this too. She actually is part of the commentary in the special features. So I'm thinking that she's got to be pretty old, because if she was in her 20s, 65 years ago, she's got to be really damn old doing this commentary. Unless it's an older commentary, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, there is a booklet in here and, you know, some features. Yeah, the full commentary track with Tom Weaver, David Schechter, Larry Blamire, and of course Joyce Meadows, which is really interesting to have her on a commentary track, considering it's such an old movie. The majority of the cast, if not everybody, has probably died in this movie. So, but yeah, I gotta say the transfer from Film Detective, very, very good. It's pretty damn cool that they give you both versions. You can watch this in widescreen. You can watch it the 1.85 to 1 widescreen to the 1.331. I did check on IMDb to see how this thing was filmed. If it was filmed in full screen, I was just going to watch it in full screen. But if it was filmed in widescreen, which most movies were, they were just formatted for you know, the home, you know, for full screen. And but yeah, no, it was actually filmed in widescreen, and it looks really good. It looks really damn good. They did a good job. It still got the film grain, but it looks nice and clear. The audio is really good in this. So, you know, all in all, man, Film Detective doing such a great job with the releases. You can't really go wrong with these. They're, you know, they're pretty cheap to pick up. I buy most of these. I was just fortunate enough to have this one sent over, but very cool. The brain from Planet Arous. The storyline's still killing me, man. It's so ridiculous, but it's so much fun. If you like these horror sci-fi films, you gotta check this out. If I had to rate this film, I'm coming in at a solid 8 out of 10. I think this is a blast. I'm a huge fan. I've mentioned this many, many times, of this era of filmmaking. Horror films from the 50s, you know, the whole atomic age, sci-fi horror type shit. The alien takeover, the giant creature features and shit like that. I like all this stuff, and this fits in perfectly with that, so give it a shot. Yeah. All right, that's gone on long enough. This review is about 1/10 of the length of the actual movie, so or the seventh of the length. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later in episode 92. Maybe I'll just do something completely random. Actually, there's a couple movies that I do want to review, but I have been prepping for the 31 Days of Horror. I've been picking out a bunch of movies for doing that, so I know a lot of people were pissed off at me last year that I didn't do it. I am going to be at Wasteland this year when 31 Days of Horror is going to be starting, so I'm going to have to pre-record a couple, which I don't like doing, but I'm going to have to do it this year, but I'm going to get it done. All right, so I will check you guys later, and as usual,